Hey, okay, my paper. I'm going to be doing it on Scandal. For those of you who don't know, Scandal is a television show that airs on ABC. Its showrunner is Shonda Rhimes, who is the creator of Grey's Anatomy as well as Private Practice. The show stars Kerry Washington as Olivia Pope, who is an attorney known as the Fixer in Washington, and she calls her coworkers gladiators, and that is one of the terms that is used by actually her fan base. They call themselves gladiators. And what I'm going to be talking about in this particular community is how the African American women are affecting the encoding or changing the encoding in Scandal, how it's being done through Scandal. This is a group of professional women, women who work in and out of the home, average everyday women, usually over the age of 30, who watch and engage in conversations about Scandal. Their habitus is that it primarily takes place on social media websites like Facebook, Twitter, and also in social gatherings like scandal parties and at bars where they watch and view Scandal and discuss the narratives. Um, so these are the things that we see about Scandal. What the group was primarily talking largely about is how um, the relationship that is happening between its main character, Olivia Pope, and the President of the United States. The President of the United States is married, and he is having an affair with Olivia Pope, and the President also happens to be white. This is interesting for me because this is a relationship that is considered still taboo in the African American community to date outside the race in some ways. It's still considered somewhat taboo. So instead of the blogs mainly focusing on not necessarily, they talk about the African American, the interracial relationship, but they talk about it not as being an interracial relationship, but merely as her being in a relationship and how her sexuality is on display. And this is something that they like seeing for the purpose of seeing an African American woman in a sexual relationship where not only she is the one that is, um, she's not the pursuant, but she's being pursued and she is desired by the most powerful man on earth. So, and the reason why it's changing the encoding, I think, is because the African American women primarily see themselves as strong women, but you're actually seeing two sides of Olivia Pope, which is this double consciousness that we talked about in class. You see the strong, affluent woman who is an attorney and who can break down walls and barriers in Washington, D.C. and kick doors open and do just about anything. But at the same time, she is genteel and delicate and loving, and she wants to be seen that way. And that's something that's talked about in these websites and on the blogs and on the social media, how it's good to identify and see this representation in Scandal. The textual poaching that I see being used is that the women take out of it that I guess what I just said is that they just get out of it that it's we're seeing Olivia the strong person as being loved, which is something that they really haven't seen or they haven't seen in a long time on network television. So that's one of my claims. Another claim that I'm making is as far as the showrunner Shonda Rhimes. She has really, when the show premiered, she has really used Twitter to her advantage by getting the actors to talk about their roles and interacting with other people on Twitter about the show and about the narrative. And for some reason, this is just my claim, I think she's using that information to kind of change the narrative of the show because why else would there be a hashtag like literally every 5 minutes or between the segments, but between the arc beats in the show, there's literally a hashtag for every single arc beat of the show, and people are just tweeting about it. Um, how is it speaking to the mass culture? What the show I think is doing is finally saying for once and for all that African American women, here we are. How the group is like, finally we see ourselves on TV. Yes, we're strong. Yes, we're dedicated to our families. We're dedicated to our job. But we're also people or women who want to be seen as vulnerable and genteel, and it's okay to be vulnerable in front of the most quote powerful, where's my quote powerful man on the planet. So that's what my view is. That's what I'm doing my paper more on. My larger implication, though, which is going to actually be in my paper, is that this has to do with the circular culture. How by seeing this female sexuality on display, it's going to lead to changing production, changing regulation, changing identity, and changing the representation of how African American female viewers are seen on network television, period. So I hope that's a good explanation, and this has been a great class. Bye.